deep in the heart of the capital city, live from the Broadcast House studios at 44th and O. We switch on the blinding neon glow that bears their name. Jack
Tell
Mitchell.
my boy, it ain't regressive taxation, just trying to make cash for park renovation.
And Dave Miller.
Boy, that was a horrible experiment noise, wasn't it?
It's KLIN's Jack and Dave in the morning.
Man.
Hey, everybody, welcome on back. It is Jack and Dave in the morning, 1400 AM, 94.5 FM, KLIN. Busy day rolls on. Just finished up, of course, with Jabba Chamberlain of the New York Yankees, who did, by the way, Dave and I debated whether or not he watched the All-Star game. He did watch the All-Star game. Or at least had it on in the background, kind of like I did.
Yeah.
He's got, kids running around, same as me, so.
Yeah, me too. I heard Neil Diamond, then I had things to do.
That Neil Diamond, that version of,
Sweet! Yeah, I
thought it was never going to end. It was like,
Oh,
I
really?
think
Was
he
that
added on a couple of extra choruses at the end or something. It was, I felt like he was singing November Rain with the length of time that thing went on. It never ended.
Nice analogy. Well played.
That's always my long song go-to is November Rain. Always. It's just
See, mine is
quick.
Inagata Devita.
That's number two. Those were interchangeable there, depending on your generation. I
Inagata
suppose.
Devita, for those of you who haven't worked in radio, you're thinking about it. If you actually work at a station that plays music, that will save your life because that'll buy you 17 minutes to do just. There's a lot you can do in 17 minutes.
Right. Drive to Omaha,
Paint your house, swap out the engine on your car,
get married,
have 3 kids.
whatever you need to do. Inagata Devita is there for you. Jason Peterson, Turbine Digital, joins us right now. Hi, Jason. How are you doing?
Yeah, how do I follow that? Can't complain.
November
I need
Rain.
17 minutes. Yeah, November
November
Rain.
Rain was the long song.
Oh, that was a classic.
To get the tech tie, and I remember when I downloaded it on Napster over my
Napster.
over my Net Zero dial-up connection in 1999, and it was 45 minutes to download that thing. That's what that was. You're like, oh man, this is gonna. You would wait though. You'd sit and watch a song download for half hour, and you were so excited to listen to it.
I think that was my first CD.
Use Your Illusion by Guns N' Roses.
1, I believe. Yes.
My kid was
Yes.
on iTunes yesterday, and he was like screaming at his computer, "Come on! What is taking so long?" You know how long it took to get the picture of Timothy McVeigh when he blew up the Muro Federal building in Oklahoma City? It literally took like half an hour to download in AOL, just one pixel at a time.
95. Oh, man. Yeah, that was 1995. I don't know if that was right about the first time I remember my folks got AOL, got one of the discs, and the subscription dial-up service.
Yep.
And then they used to have this open screen where you could go to these chat rooms, or you could go to finance or stock market and sports, and it was really different.
Internet in its infancy.
Yeah.
We had no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we got a lot of things to get to today. We'll get to as many of them as we can. But Dave and I were both kind of intrigued by the same story about one of the bigwigs over at Instagram. And Instagram's made waves. I think we talked about this last time. They've added video to their app. Pretty ubiquitous out there, Instagram, in terms of a photo sharing app. Started out just on Apple about a year and a half ago. They came over to Android. Lots of folks are on it. You see the filters. You recognize Instagram. One of the guys behind it, though, is moving to Dropbox. Now, Dropbox, if people don't know, this is basically a file storage site app. It's nice to back stuff up online if you want to. I've been reading a lot about Dropbox lately, it seems like. I feel like they've got big new things planned ahead of them. What is the future of these file backing up sites like Dropbox?
Well, we use Dropbox for our basically cloud-based storage for Turbine, and it's probably one of the most creative companies out there in that space. That's a pretty substantial move. I'm like you. I'm not quite sure what that
They
means.
got something in the fire, though.
Something's going on, and
sorry to interrupt, but
No.
you said creative. I do not associate what Dropbox does with creativity.
Well, that's because you don't work with file sharing a lot. If you do a lot of file storage or file sharing, what's great about that is this is not your typical FTP site. You can invite people. You can take people off your invite. You can make it available for a certain amount of time. You can reinstate something that you've done before. It's a great way to share stuff. And if you own an Apple device, it's the only way that you can move stuff around.
Correct.
So if you do something on your phone and you want to move it to your iPad, it's the only way you're going to get it there. So it's a must-have for Apple people, and Apple even relies on it to be able to move stuff around for them. But it is very, I think it's very creative. I think it would be a whole lot more.
Yeah, it's the essence of simplicity. I mean, I know that the founder was got some insight from Steve Jobs. He kind of mentored him a little bit, I believe, in terms of how you go about and get venture capital. We've been studying this on our end. It's fascinating. They did like a video to show like the secret sauce, and it was crazy simple stuff. So I think a lot of it has to do with the experience of sharing files and using files. That's a day-to-day thing, and it's really mundane, and I bet you they're going to create an entirely improved experience for how people do that from a usage standpoint that makes it even more simple and even more robust. That's my guess.
But I don't see them being a household name unless they bring the price down for expanded
storage. That's what
storage.
I was going to say. Yeah, that's one of those things that I won't pay. You know how I am, Dave, about paying for things online.
Yep.
I won't shell out the money for Dropbox, even though mine is totally full.
Well, and the workaround with it, not that I'm telling tales out of school, you can figure this out on your own. The workaround is have 4 different emails, have 4 different accounts, and then share those folders in with those different emails. It's very simple to do.
That's true. I've used Google Drive. I've got like 3 or 4 different ones that I'm using. But this is the future. I mean, everybody's going to have a backup cloud drive, I would think, eventually. The external hard drives days are over.
Correct.
Right? We're moving in this direction, right?
Absolutely. No, I mean, I think that this is the reason why I'll never leave them. About a couple years ago, we had some changes in some accounts and where they were linked, and when that changed connected to a computer, it deleted 30,000 files. Now, I could have restored all of those manually, but no kidding, about 10 minutes after this, and this was like the day before Christmas, somebody called me from Dropbox, asked me if this was supposed to happen.
Seriously?
Straight up. I don't know if they would do this now, but then they said, "Would you like us to restore them?" I'm like, "Yes, please."
That's crazy.
So
wow.
I was like, customer for life. So that service, and like you said, then all of a sudden, paying the price is not as big a deal because I'm like, okay, everything's safe.
Yeah.
Well, for a
Those are
business
good.
like yours, yeah. But for me as an individual,
Absolutely.
a lot of freelance stuff that I do,
Correct.
I got 4 different emails.
See, if
It's
it gets
fine.
down to like $2 or $3 a month or something, I don't know what it even is to get 100.
What is
gig.
it? It's
What's
$99 a year?
Gee,
Yeah, I think
for
so.
100 gig?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Well, and like for our company, I think we pay $600 a year for a terabyte. So it can
Oh,
it
that's
gets
huge. Yeah.
that's a lot of space.
That's more
so
than I need
obviously
for my
that's
pictures.
the business.
Yeah.
But no, it's just a matter of time for that stuff gets cheaper.
Facebook now is giving graph search to everyone. I got this. I was one of the beta people with this graph search thing. I showed it to you, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months ago.
Hey, who cares?
No, I'm not like bragging, but I mean, some people.
No, I mean about the graph search.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares?
It's the video about it made it look cooler than it actually. Am I wrong about this?
No, guys, I retract a little bit of my prediction, at least at this point. I thought it was going to be more substantial once it became more fully released. It's really not that novel.
I use it the
It's
exact
not
same way I
impressive.
use the old search.
I agree.
mean,
I agree. I'm not seeing any difference, and I agree with you. I think I was expecting some sort of change in how we found information, and right now I think they're realizing that they're not very good at search.
Yeah, and just the things that they were saying you could do with it just aren't that. I mean, it looked cool when you make a splashy video, say people talking about rowing in the Lincoln, Nebraska area. Practically, you just don't do that. That's not. It's not. Maybe in a bigger city, maybe it's different, but I don't know. I just didn't think it was.
Long way to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Long way to go.
So the new Sony phone, is this going to make me regrow hair or what?
I think the interesting, and you're talking about the megapixels.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
obviously. To me, the thing about cameras, and I'm not officially a professional photographer. The guy that works for me, Dave, here in the studio is, and I know you do photography.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding that megapixels is only one piece of the equation. Obviously, it's the quality of the lens and the aperture and all the different
Right.
ways that you use that camera. So, I mean, that's a ridiculous amount of megapixels.
20, by the way, people who don't know, 20. Well, the rumors are a 20.7 megapixel camera 1080p HD display. Well, I mean, Miller, what do you think about this?
Yeah, no kidding. I want to hear.
I like the 1080p. I'm worried about storage for the video clips.
Good call.
Because once you do that, then your apps slow down.
16 gig of storage.
Yeah, but still, 1080p
I know, it's not a
video,
lot.
that's huge. You know, if you're shooting at 1080p and you want to shoot for a significant period of time, over 30 seconds, that's going to be a lot of storage space.
That's going to attract a professional crowd, and then the device has to have more horsepower and more storage.
But how many things have you seen on TV? I mean, news departments are using it all the time. I know I did a little of it before I left Channel 8, where someone would send in a video that they've shot. It's getting easier and easier to do that from your computer now or from your phone. But that file is gigantic. It's got to move across that pipeline and get into somebody's shop. So that's great. You're shooting it. Is the lens any good? And
exactly,
can you store it? That's what I want to know.
Yep, I'm right there with you.
I was just trying to look up what the iPhone I don't know what the iPhone camera specs are for megapixels. Do you know?
Megapixels.
I remember when,
It's
3 was a big deal.
Yeah, it's
20. At some point, you're getting to a point of diminishing returns.
Well, I've also
aren't you?
heard that in still photography, after 11, it doesn't make any difference.
That's exactly what I
mean, you got to
thought.
get out a microscope out before you can tell.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It doesn't make a whole lot
One of the
difference.
rumors for the iPhone 5 would be a 12 megapixel camera. I've read. So,
But
By
the lens will be good. I mean, that's their big calling card. Is typically the lenses.
Well, Sony makes
Sony's
lenses,
got the
that's for sure.
name. Yeah, I mean they've done. I mean,
True,
I don't know.
True that. I agree.
By the way, real quick, when are we hearing about that? When's the next iPhone info coming? Is this a fall thing? You think?
I think so.
5S?
I think it's going to be fall, probably end of September.
Because we got the new operating system now, so I
Yeah.
would guess a new phone is
Yeah,
forthcoming.
it's going to be coming. Yep.
All right, there we go. Great stuff as always. Jason Peterson. See his stuff, Turbine Interactive. This is turbine.com for the
Yes,
blog.
yes.
Follow Twitter, Facebook, etc.
All there.
All right, very good. We always appreciate it, Jason. We'll talk again soon, all right?
Okay, thanks, gentlemen.
There you go, 8:52. Wrapping things up after this. Jack and Dave in the morning, 1400 AM and 94.5 FM, KLI. 4.5 FM, KLI.